everybody, I'm Elizabeth Hines from ourpaleofamily.com, and today we're going on a trip, and so I thought it might be helpful if I showed you how I prepare in terms of food for a trip. And you can see this is most of what I'm going to be taking on the counter. There's a little bit more, and I'll tell you about that as we get to it, but I'm just going to walk you through my process of how I prepare. So first I should tell you that we are just going away for a weekend. We're going to leave on Saturday morning after breakfast, and we'll be back home Monday night. And that's a little bit unusual for us. Usually we leave on a Friday night, but regardless, it changes up the meals just a little bit. So we usually, if we can, stay in a place that has a kitchen. In this particular instance, we're staying with some relatives, and they have a spare little condo for us, and it has a kitchen. Now, nobody lives there, so there's not a lot in the kitchen. So I always try to think wherever I'm going, typically if it's a rental, there's not going to be a whole lot in terms of equipment in the kitchen, and probably no food, no spices or anything like that. So everything you know you're going to need, you need to take. So when I'm planning what I'm going to cook, I don't plan to use a crock pot or my Instant Pot or, a Dutch oven, some big heavy piece of equipment, because I don't want to have to mess with that, and I don't want to assume that they're going to have it at the location, because they're probably not. So you want to think kind of simply, and then don't just sort of willy-nilly go, oh yeah, we eat this for breakfast, we eat this for lunch, and start throwing things in. You really need to methodically go through each meal for the whole time you're going to be gone. Because the whole point of this process is, one, that you do what you can at home so that you don't work too much while you're on vacation. You're on vacation after all. Two, you don't want to run yourself ragged before you leave, so don't go to great lengths preparing tons and tons of things, unless that's just something you particularly enjoy. I'm very bad at that. I usually do kind of run myself ragged before we go, but I like the house to be clean. I like to do as much as I can before I leave, so I'm working on that one. And number three, you don't want to eat out every meal. That's why we're staying in a place with a kitchen and we're taking food with us. I know with my Crohn's disease, if I relied on restaurant food for 3 meals a day for several days, I would most certainly be sick. And I think most people, whether you have a digestive disease or not, if you eat restaurant food most of the time, you're not going to feel well. So that's why we do this. So let me just quickly walk you through my process. So like I said, we're going to leave on Saturday morning. So we're going to eat breakfast at home, so I don't have to worry about that. We're going to be driving about 4 hours, so we'll be on the road for lunch. So here are some places we stop for lunch. I'll admit that we usually stop at Wendy's. 1, because it's cheap. 2, because you can find them everywhere. And 3, it never makes us sick. I don't know why. There must be something that's used to clean lettuce in restaurants that supply restaurants. But salad in restaurants almost always makes me sick, but Wendy's does not. Now, sometimes I'll take my own salad dressing, because the dressings are where you get into trouble. Usually it's just lettuce and chicken and nuts and things. You have to be careful with the topping. So anyway, pay attention. If you're eating at a fast food restaurant, they will have all of their nutrition information on their website. If you go to some place like Wendy's or McDonald's, they're not going to change their preparation gloves. They're not going to get a clean cutting board for you. So you can't ask them to go to great lengths. So if you have an allergy, that's not as safe of a bet for you. But for our family, it works fine. We get burgers without buns. They serve them to us in a little container, or we get a salad. So Wendy's works well for us, but some other places we really like if we want to spend a little more time or a little more money. Chipotle is very good. Five Guys burgers. You can even get fries at Five Guys, because they actually use real potatoes. They cut them there. They're not frying anything else in their fryer, so they're gluten-free. But Five Guys is kind of famous for having those big boxes of peanuts at the door, and my son has a peanut allergy, so that is off the list for us. We also really like Jason's Deli. I don't know how extensively they're located across the country. I know they're, throughout the southeast. But they have a really nice salad bar. They do have gluten-free bread, and they seem to take it pretty seriously if you say you have a gluten allergy. So you have some different options there. And really any place. I mean, unless you have a real serious allergy, pretty much any fast food place is going to be able to give you a bunless chicken sandwich or burger. You can get sustenance. So those are some places we stop for lunch. And then dinner, we're going to be at our location. So like I said, we're staying with family, so I'm going to make dinner for everybody. For this particular dinner, I decided to make sloppy joes. So I have 2 pounds of ground beef that are sealed up and they're frozen. I'll take them frozen and they'll serve as ice packs in my cooler. And I went ahead and cut up the vegetables that are gonna go in my Sloppy Joe mix. It's just celery and onions and some garlic. Usually Sloppy Joes would have bell peppers, but I can't eat bell peppers, so I leave them out. So I've cut them ahead of time, and they're in a Ziploc bag, but I'm gonna go an extra step, and I'm gonna wrap this bag in foil, because the foil will keep the smell of the onions and the garlic contained. Otherwise, everything in my cooler will smell like onions and garlic. And I'm gonna get a pen, and I'm just gonna label this for Sloppy Joe. That way I know what it is. So I have my ground beef, I have my vegetables that go in, a couple cans of tomato products. This is coconut aminos, which will be like a Worcestershire sauce, soy sauce substitute, but it's made from coconut. And some spices, salt and pepper, paprika, and chili powder. The recipe actually called for onion powder and garlic powder, but I have fresh onions and fresh garlic, so I'm not going to mess with that. Then I'll have to add a little bit of water. Oh, I need one more thing. This is my apple cider vinegar, so we need a little bit of vinegar in that. And I also drink vinegar in my water and in my tea. It just kind of helps my sinuses. I get chronic sinus infections if I don't drink my apple cider vinegar. So I'll take a small glass jar, like this is an old jam jar that I have put mayonnaise in, and I'll put a little apple cider vinegar in it so I don't have to take this big jar. Okay, so that's dinner. I've made some, these are my peppermint bark cookies. These are on my website, and I think that's what they're called, peppermint bark cookies. You can find the recipe there for free, ourpaleofamily.com. And so I'm taking these as a gift to my brother and sister-in-law. I'm sure they will share, and we will eat some. But they're my sister-in-law can't have any dairy, so they're paleo. They're almost paleo. They have crushed candy canes in them and white chocolate chips on top. But they're dairy-free and gluten-free and soy-free and all that good stuff. So that's a dessert option if we want any dessert. So then we'll wake up on Sunday morning, and they're all going skiing. So they're going to need a lot of energy. So I'm taking a package of bacon. And I'm going to take a big baking sheet because I bake my bacon. It's a lot easier and a lot less messy. And that way I'll know that that there will be a baking sheet there for me. And then I'm going to take some eggs. I'll just have this about half full. And actually I'll probably cut it in half, cut my cardboard in half, so that I just have to take as many eggs in the size container that I need. So I've got eggs and bacon. This is my reserved bacon fat from when I cook my bacon at home. If you're not using good quality bacon, it's not raised without hormones and antibiotics and whatnot, don't save that fat. But if you're using good quality bacon, save the fat and cook with it. And I can also use this to brown my ground beef for my Sloppy Joes. So I'll do double duty. And when I cook my bacon, I'll fill it back up. It's like a never-ending supply of bacon fat. So we'll have bacon and eggs. We're getting ready to leave, and always it just perfectly works out that I have overripe bananas. So we will magically turn these into some banana bread this afternoon before we leave. And the recipe for that is on my website too. It's just called Paleo Banana Bread. It's really, really good. It's very simple. If you have some basic paleo pantry items like almond flour, baking soda, baking powder, typical baking things, you can make this banana bread recipe. It's really simple. So that'll be breakfast: eggs, bacon, banana bread. And then lunch. They're going to come in from skiing and they're going to be really hungry, and we don't want to have to mess with going to a restaurant. So I have a turkey breast. This I bought at Whole Foods. It's a smoked boneless turkey breast. You just slice it up. It's delicious. I have some grass-fed cheddar cheese, apples. These are avocado oil potato chips. This is Kettle brand. Boulder Canyon is the brand I've been buying, but they have gotten so popular they're out of them all the time at my local grocery store. But I just noticed this Kettle brand is now carrying some avocado oil chips. I'm trying to look for the ingredients. Here it is: potatoes, avocado oil, and Himalayan sea salt. Those are pure foods. Potatoes are real foods. This is not something we want to eat every day, all the time, but it's a really good option for when you really need a lot of energy. Gives you some good crunch. Have a whole bag of apples. We'll take those. A box of lettuce, some carrots. I grabbed a can of tuna because it's real easy to make some tuna salad. That's probably what I will have. And this is my homemade mayonnaise, which I could easily turn into some honey mustard by putting in a little mustard, and I'll take my liquid stevia because I like it in my coffee. So instead of honey, I don't have to mess with honey. I can put a couple drops of stevia in, then there I have a salad dressing. So this will all do double duty. So that's lunch. on Sunday. And then dinner, we're going to go out because I cooked last night and they skied all day and I probably lounged around all day, so I'm tired. So we're going to go out for dinner. And we have been to this area before. We know of a couple restaurants that would be safe places for us to eat. Actually, if you're ever going to Boone, North Carolina, there's a great place called Coyote Kitchen, and they can make all their fried stuff is gluten-free. So the kids can get fried fish or fried chicken, like chicken fingers. They have a gluten-free batter, so it's actually battered and fried. And so anything like their French fries, they have really yummy homemade sweet potato fries. So it's kind of a splurge restaurant because we get to eat some of those foods we don't eat all the time, and they're totally safe, and they're really, really good there with allergies. And the food is awesome. It sort of has a Mexican theme. My husband and I get usually, I think they call it a bowl or a boat, and it's like a deconstructed burrito sort of thing, but they have really awesome kind of unique toppings. So anyway, Coyote Kitchen in Boone, North Carolina, I recommend that. So Sunday night we'll go out. Monday morning we will get up, and Monday is a holiday, so that's why our weekend is shifted a little bit. We'll have the same breakfast. We'll have more eggs, we'll have more bacon, and we'll have more banana bread. And, oh, I forgot to say, coffee. I will bring my coffee with me. I know that there's a coffee pot, and I know there are coffee filters, so I don't have to worry about that. But I bring my coffee, and I'll bring my collagen, which I put in my coffee every morning. At night, I make my lemon ginger tea. This is Yogi brand. It's my favorite. It doesn't have any soy in it, believe it or not. A lot of these flavored teas have artificial flavoring, and they have a lot of soy. They have food coloring. This is just lemon and ginger and pepper and peppermint. So pure ingredients. I like this one. I put some collagen in it and some apple cider vinegar, and it's kind of zingy. I really like it. Some people put a little honey in it, but I like it just like it is. So that's Monday morning, and then we'll slowly pack up and head out. And if we have any of these foods left, which we probably will, we're not going to eat 8 or 9 apples in one day. So we'll have apples. We'll probably have turkey and cheese left. We'll have carrots left. So we'll have enough to make a picnic lunch. When we go to the mountains, we like to hike, and our plan is Monday to hike. It's supposed to be warm, unseasonably warm, and it's hard to have a plan to eat lunch at a restaurant when you're out on a hike. So we just like to have our food with us so we can picnic wherever we are and it doesn't disrupt our plans. So we'll have these same foods, and I didn't cover snacks because snacks are really important. So that my skiers can stuff things in their pockets, I have some Laura bars. I actually have a recipe on my website for a protein power bar, energy bar. I think they're called cranberry orange, but you can make them cranberry orange, or you can just leave that out. A lot of times I leave out the cranberry and the orange, and I put in little mini chocolate chips, and I add this collagen, so that gives them an extra boost of protein. They're really good, and they're a great, more economical choice than some of these purchased bars. But Laura bars have pretty pure ingredients, so I'm happy with those. We have a little packet of almond butter. This is an Epic bison bar. This is really good beef jerky, and it's really expensive, but it lasts a really long time. And so I'll just buy a box of it, and then we have it for a while for this type of thing. And then we have nuts, just plain roasted nuts, some dried fruit. My boys just got back from camping, so I'm just being real right here. These are not paleo, these are Kraft marshmallows, and I'm sure they are made with high fructose corn syrup. Yes, they are. I think this is so funny. There's like 8 ingredients on here, and every one of them is a different version of sugar. But we have them left over. They're skiing, and so we're just going to let them eat these while they're out. And then also just have some mixed, this is like a trail mix, so mixed nuts and dried fruit. So that covers snacks. So we've covered every single meal. We're going to have lunch while we're going to picnic out while we're hiking. Then Monday night we'll drive home and we'll eat someplace on the road. If we really feel like stopping and taking time, we might stop at Cracker Barrel and get, they have a lot of vegetables and meats that are on their gluten-free menu. They have a menu for you to look at and choose from what would be a safe choice. Though in my opinion, the whole reason for going to Cracker Barrel is to eat the biscuits, and you can't eat those. Which reminds me that with our Sloppy Joes, we're having biscuits. So I have a book. It's called Your Paleo Holiday. You can buy it directly from my website, and it's also on iTunes and Amazon for Kindle, and you can just download it directly. It's in electronic form, and it has recipes for different holidays throughout the year. And my New Year's recipes are a soup recipe and biscuits, and these are the best paleo biscuits. They're so, so, so yummy. And it's just very simple ingredients. I think lard, or you could use palm shortening, almond flour, probably baking powder. I don't remember off the top of my head. That recipe is not on the website. You have to buy the book to get it. But the way I'll handle that is I will portion out the fat, the lard, and I'll just put it in a Ziploc bag and take that with us. And then I'll measure out all the dry ingredients and put those in a Ziploc bag. So all I have to do when I get there is mix it together and bake it. And I'll take my parchment paper so that it won't stick to my pan. And we're going to have biscuits with our sloppy joes. And the other thing we're going to have with our sloppy joes, I forgot to tell you, is roasted vegetables. So I will heat up my sheet pan in the oven. I'll put some bacon fat on it, and I'll chop up a whole bunch of vegetables. Which vegetables, you ask? Whatever vegetables are left in my refrigerator that will go bad before I get home. So I know I have some squash. I have about 1/4 of a head of cabbage. I have a package of mushrooms. I have some carrots. I don't know what else is in there. It's called Clean Out the Fridge Roasted Vegetables. So we'll just take all of that. I'll throw them all in a Ziploc bag. I won't cut them up ahead of time because some of them will start to turn brown, and it won't be a big deal to chop those up when I'm there. So I'll take those veggies to go along with that meal. And let's see, I think I've talked about everything. Oh, if I have a 1/2 gallon of milk, we'll take that milk. That way we have it. There is a grocery store really close to where we're staying, so it's no problem. Like if we run out of turkey and I need to get some more lunch meat, no problem, I can go get it. But I might as well take what I have, right? Instead of having to buy milk while I'm up there and then come home and have 2 1/2 gallons of milk. I'm already taking a big cooler. Might as well fill it up. It'll be more efficient that way. And so I'll take my orange juice, I'll take my milk. If we might need ketchup for something, I would take my own ketchup. Or just grab what I have from my house, fill up the cooler, and that way I don't have to run to the grocery store. And that's it. If you like this video, I would love to know if you would like more tips, helpful hints, kind of things. I'd love to help you out with that. That's why I'm here. So again, I'm Elizabeth from ourpaleofamily.com. If you have not been to my website, please do that. And right on the sidebar, if you're looking on a desktop, or it's at the bottom if you're looking on your phone, there's a place to subscribe, and that just means you'll get an email when I write up a new post, which is about once a week. I'm not spamming you, I'm not selling your information or anything, so I would love it if you would subscribe. And also I have a YouTube channel, obviously, which is where you're watching this. Facebook, so I'm just, Our Paleo Family on YouTube. I'm Our Paleo Family on Facebook. I'm Our Paleo Family on Pinterest. But on Instagram, I'm Our Paleo Family blog. So follow me on all of those places. I've really been working on my Pinterest account, and there are some awesome recipe ideas out there. So I've got quite a few boards with recipe inspiration for you. So that's it. Thank you so much, and happy travels.